right, the flip side of this piece, filing a lawsuit. Should you sue somebody? Should you go on the offense? I mean, keep in mind, offense is kind of the root word of offensive. So do you want to be an offensive human being? I know Rob is going to have some notes on this one for sure.
I love being offensive.
That's not what I meant.
Oh, sorry. Back to you, Dustin.
But is this about them? Is it about me? Is it about those damn principles that I can't seem to let go of? I mean, how much money are these principles actually worth? How much of my energy and time are they worth? Questions to consider, right? Questions to consider. How much is this going to consume of my life and of me? How many files must I fund to simply replace the dollars? That's the better question to ask, right? I mean, over the years, my own parents have said to me, hey, it's not about how much a thing costs. It's about how long it takes you to replace the money for that thing, right? And there's certain things that I would have liked to have had in my life over the years, but as my parents rightly pointed out, do the math. Do the math. How long is it going to take you to replace the money that you're investing into that thing, right? And what's the ROI on that investment? Do the math. If you're going to spend 100 hours fighting to file a lawsuit against someone to prove a point, because, you know, the principle of the thing, and you're not even going to actually get any money back, that just makes 0 sense. You're going to get 10,000 bucks back 100 hours later. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense either, because if you took that 100 hours and invested it in dialing, in working your database, in closing additional mortgage transactions, not only would you make more money, would you wind up with more money in your bank account at the end of the experience, you'd also have happy clients who are referring you. And you also wouldn't have someone out there who you filed a lawsuit against who patently disagrees with your version, who is now having to hire a lawyer to defend them, and you're making their life miserable, and believe me, they're telling everybody about it. And it's costing you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. And you can very easily say to me what the one broker I remember said to me in particular, I don't want to work with any of these people. I wouldn't want to work with anyone that this person is associated with. That's a ridiculous comment. I got some great friends that are complete jerks. So do you. Maybe you're the jerk. Maybe I'm the jerk. Maybe my friends have a friend that's a complete jerk, right? I mean, we all know all kinds of different people who behave differently in all kinds of scenarios, and everyone's paying attention, everyone's listening. You're being interviewed for the job all the time. What's this doing to your reputation, right? What am I diverting my time and my energy and my money away from, and why? Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? And think about the reputational impact overall. And you know, I touched on it yesterday, and don't worry, I won't go back into that whole thing. Thanks, Tim, again, for that wonderful post. I'm sure a lot of people were like, what the heck's this guy talking about? Am I damaging my health? Am I damaging my health? Right? The number one killer, rumination, hanging on to nonsense, right? I'm going to deviate real quick. Grab your pen. Grab your pen. I haven't done this for a long, long time. Grab your pen. Rob, grab your pen.
I got it,
All
man.
right,
Ready to rock.
You're ready.
Who we stabbing, Dustin?
Who we stabbing? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry, go.
All right. I want you to write down the name. I want you to think of the person that just, you will never work with that client again. That client, that referral partner, you know who they are. They pissed you off so much. You know you've got them, right? We talked about how they get cut from the Christmas card list, that sort of thing. Some of you are writing a laundry list of names down. All right, now pause. When did this person piss you off? The first one that came to mind that you're like, yeah, you know what? I will never work with them again. Oh my gosh, that was such a crazy experience. I've got a name. It just popped into my mind. Write down the year, the ballpark year that actually occurred, whatever it was, the last time you spoke to them. So mine is 2012, 10 years. 10 years. Okay, now, I want you to think of your favorite client. Your favorite client. They were so great to work with. They're so awesome. I mean, whether they refer you or don't refer you almost doesn't matter, because when they phone you, it's just a pleasure to have a conversation with them. You know it's going to flow easily. The conversation's low pressure. They get you all the docs. They sign the commitment easily. They're great to work with. Write their name down. And then write down the year that you interacted with them. And what you'll probably notice, I don't know, Rob, what?
Got it in my mind.
Talk to me. So what I'm really interested in is the difference in the year.
Oh, it's huge. I know where you're going with this, and you'll have the same experience. The greatest clients of all, we just closed files with 6 months, 3 months, 12 months ago. The donkeys that are taking up real estate in your brain, I have 2011. I beat you by a year. And it was actually a referral partner that I ended up firing, but it's just...
Mine was a referral partner I ended up firing. Yes, same thing. Well, actually, he fired me, but I like to say I fired him.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, case in point, it's taking up real estate in our minds. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
But we're human, and it's so hard.
It's there. Damn them.
Yeah.
Like, why are you clinging to that? Why are you still thinking about that? I mean, you're thinking about it because I brought it up and I made you think about it. So let that go.
I got to let it go again.
That's interesting. Well, and what was the year? Wait, what was the year of the most recent? Oh, sorry, you said 6
just
months.
a couple months. Yeah, I mean, a lot of great
2022.
clients come to mind when I think about those great experiences.
A lot more recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you have great clients that you've worked with for years, and you just work with them again, and you've worked with them for 20 years or whatever, and that makes sense because they're great people. But my point is, you didn't think of the one great client, the one time you worked with them 10 years ago, and you haven't actually talked to them since, but that's a lot harder to bring to mind. That's the real point there, right? We cling to that, and rumination will destroy your health. So again, when it's $4,500 or whatever the number is, whatever your number is, write the check and let it go. Where is this really taking you? Going on the offensive and going after somebody? And again, what's the impact on your business partnership? If you've got a business partnership, are you both aligned in this? Do you both want to go after this person? Does that make sense? Are you affecting your business partnership negatively? And of course, are you affecting your family negatively, right? Every time you tell a story, it wears a groove in your brain, a little bit deeper. That's why I say all the time, no negative stories. I don't want to hear about that last thing that blew up in your life. I don't want to hear about the crash. Like I was chatting with, I mentioned I was chatting with a realtor on the drive down here a couple days ago, and we were talking about mountain biking. And he brought it up, actually. We were talking about how he never watches fail videos, ever. He never watches a fail video. He never watches a crash video, ever, because he doesn't want that in his mind at all. And he doesn't let his kids watch fail videos. They don't watch fail videos because he doesn't want that in their minds. Why would you want that planted in your brain? And so if you keep bitching and moaning about this person, damn, I'm trying to stop saying the B word. If you keep complaining and moaning about this person for years on end and paying money to a lawyer to go after them for less money than you've even paid to the lawyer, like what example are you setting? And what is the impact that's having on your family relationship, whether it's a partner, whether it's kids, whatever? Think about that. What lessons are you sharing? And look, at the end of the day, I get it. Some of us, we're scorpions, right? Some of you have seen the TV series House of Lies. There's a great episode, because I'm a scorpion. We've done such a good job, Rob, of not cursing on this whole.
You've got 5 today. I'm actually keeping count, everybody, because I went to confession last night. I'm doing good today. He's up to 5.
5? Really? No,
not that I'm counting. I'm totally counting, by the way.
Anyway, it's like the old fable of the scorpion and the toad, right? And I won't recap. Well, okay, I'll recap it briefly because there's probably at least one person who hasn't heard it. Where the toad needs to get across the river, and the scorpion says, well, jump on my back. Or pardon me, the scorpion needs to cross the river's rising. And he says to the toad, I'm going to jump on your back, and you're going to swim across the river. You're going to take me across the river. And the toad says, well, why would I do that? When we get to the other side, you're probably going to sting me and kill me. And he's like, well, I could sting you and kill you here. Okay, fair enough. And so, I'll spare your life if you swim me across the river. And halfway across the river, the scorpion stings the toad and kills him, and they both drown. And the toad looks at the scorpion and is like, why? And the scorpion just shrugs, because I'm a scorpion. It is what it is. And I get it. Some of us are wired like scorpions. We just can't help ourselves. But, is that real? Is that real? I think a little therapy might help. You'd probably be a lot better to invest all those dollars in a therapist rather than a lawyer and fix that, right? And these are some other critical considerations that you need to have. This is the flip side of being defensive against a lawsuit. Does your opponent that you're going after have a contract? Have they got your signature on a document with a guarantee of some kind? Or did you make a verbal guarantee? Maybe they have a phone recording of it. You don't know. Maybe they're going to spring that out later on, a year down the road, or drop that little bit of evidence into discovery. It doesn't matter whether you think the contract's enforceable. It doesn't matter at all. If they've got your handwriting on something and they see it the way they see it, you're unlikely to change their line of thinking on it. Do they have detailed notes? There's a few people out there who I know that keep incredibly detailed notes of every conversation. I know people who record. They're like Richard Nixon. They record every single conversation. These are not people I would ever want to go up against in a court of law. I mean, maybe he's joking that I have cursed 5 times. I don't know. I mean, I thought I was at 0. Apparently, I'm not at 0, apparently. So who's paying attention? And so that just goes to prove the point. We don't even know what we're saying half the time, hence the opening gift. Sometimes I open my mouth and I don't even know what's going to come out next. Does my opponent actually have any cash? You can't get blood from a stone. What are you going after somebody they have a massive, massive gambling addiction or some other type of addiction that's just draining them? They have no assets whatsoever, nothing. Why? Oh, I'm going to garnish either wages. Really? Really? This person has nothing, and you're going to go after their wages now. Come on. Let it go. A man with nothing left to lose, a woman, a person with nothing left to lose is not a person you want to go up against. You really don't, right? And are they incorporated? Are they incorporated? So, maybe they live in a fancy house and they drive fancy cars and all the rest of it, but those could all be in somebody else's name. And you may only have an action against their corporation, which may be an empty shell. There may be $10 in the bank account. And then again, are they insured? Are they insured? Have they got an insurance company behind them that you can name in that? There's different pieces around that. But what steps ultimately are you going to take? I mean, I think threats are just bad manners. I just think they're bad manners. I don't threaten anybody. I really don't. I just do the thing. Why tell someone that you're going to do something if you're not going to do it, right? You're that's just no way to live. It's no way to live. Empty threats, it's like an empty promise. A demand letter. Well, again, easy to send, but weak. They're weak. I mean, a threat needs to be real. You have to be prepared to back that threat up and to follow through. Otherwise, there goes your reputation. So threats, action, yes. Right? You threatening me? You threatening me? Actually, I like this one better. You think you can do this to me? Right? People will have a reaction to being threatened, and if you're not prepared to follow through, you've lost. So you better be prepared to go all the way through. It can't just be an empty threat. And again, how long is it going to take you to go all the way through this thing, to see justice done? Well, I know small claims actions that are underway right now. They were filed 2 years and 3 months ago, and they still don't have a resolution. There's a court date pending, but that can get bumped. And I would suggest a small claims action right now will take you between 3 and 3.5 years. That's kind of the timeline. And a more significant action, easily 4, 5, 6 years or longer. Easily, lucky number 7, which may not prove to be that lucky. Again, versus how many dollars are you chasing here? And And how long does it take you to replace that money? So look, go time, okay? I haven't talked you out of it. You don't care. You're going after it. Maybe it's a very significant dollar amount against a very well-established company, and he's a very clear contract, and everyone agrees, you've got a case, this is a slam dunk, you're gonna get paid, you need to do this. Okay, cool, cool. Those situations absolutely exist, rarely inside mortgage broker world, but hey, we got lives outside of broker world, so maybe this applies to something else in your world. If it's on, stay detached. Retain an expert, fund them, and let them get on the roller coaster, and they go around and around the roller coaster for you, and discuss it as little as possible. Yes, I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm absolutely speaking from personal experience. Discuss this as little as possible. Let the lawyer do their thing and advise the lawyer. I don't want an update every 3 seconds. I don't need to know what's happening unless it's significant. Don't give me a random update. Don't tell me no news when there is no news. In this instance, I want no news until there's good news. Don't tell me anything. And that is one of the ways to build a little bit of a fence around your mental health on this side. Because every time you say your opponent's name, every time you say their name, you're giving them the power, right? You're giving them the power. That's why this scene was so damn powerful, right? Say my name, right? You know who I am. He's got all the power right there, and that's the point he's making. And that's what's happening inside our own brains when we say someone else's name, we're giving them the power. So if they've wronged you, if they've made your life miserable, why do you keep talking about them? There's no percentage in that. Let it go. Refer back to my chicken scratch timeline. All you need to take away from this, you got 7 years to go before you wind up in front of a judge, a 2% chance of actually even getting to a judge, and then you might as well have tossed a coin. You might as well have tossed a coin. And I've seen lawsuits that have gone the distance, and the people who were telling me adamantly for years, oh, no, 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 I'm going to win this, I'm going to win this, I'm going to win this, and then boom, they lose. They lose. I say, well, I just hope you're building a contingency fund just in case you got to write a check. I mean, that's the only flip side, too. When you're being sued, at least you got 7 years to save up the money, and money is easier to replace than time. Money is also easier to replace than people. So I don't like drawing a line in the sand and battling against clients when I can turn them into repeat clients and referral partners by writing them a check and making it right. A bank balance is easier to build than a relationship. Rather than destroying multiple relationships all around me by going after somebody or by arguing with somebody, I'd sooner acquiesce, to their request and just try and keep life moving forward. Keep the wheel spinning, baby. Write the check or take the loss, same difference. Someone's coming after me, easier to write the check. Someone's got one over on me, easier to take the loss. It's easier because what matters? What matters? What matters is me showing up here this morning with this material ready to deliver. That's what matters. That's the focus. What matters on Monday? You showing up, making your outbound calls, sending your outbound emails, putting together your marketing plan, working on the underwriting of the existing files, getting those commitments signed, ensuring everything's moving smoothly at the law firm. Those are the things that matter in life. None of this stuff matters. This stuff costs you money. It doesn't make you money. Nobody gets rich suing anybody. And remember, the pen is mightier than the sword, especially when the pen is writing a check. True story. And here's that helpful little PDF one more time, the Decision-Making Process Planner. And it's legitimately one of these things that, as Rob mentioned, get a pad of these suckers printed. And you can write the question at the top, am I being emotional? Of course you are. Of course I am. I'm feeling my feeling. My feeling is guiding me. Am I being emotional or am I being logical? I like to think I'm being logical, but the evidence is, pretty strong to the contrary. Very few of us are logical. We're mostly emotional beings.